What's going on, you guys? It's your boy, the UnFadingRocket here, and it's time to go into another episode of Rocket Rants. We're trying to keep it clean with episode 16. Get used to that rhyming. I'm going to try to do it every single video. And today's subject is going to be about something that me and the boys had in a conversation over the group chat yesterday. No, not yesterday, actually earlier this week. See, the thing that we're going to be talking about today is cheesing. And before we even get into that, quick backstory. This came up because me and the boys were having a conversation about Dark Souls, right? You guys know, not Dark Souls, Sekiro, my apologies. Sekiro Shadows Die Twice. Now, you guys know by now, Sekiro is a very tough game. It's a very, very, very difficult game. In my personal opinion, it's harder than Dark Souls and Bloodborne. So it's like, it's really tough. Now, the conversation actually came because, there's a particular boss in the game. His name's Genichiro. If any of you guys know him, he's the guy that you fight in the beginning that you're supposed to lose to. Yeah, you fight him again, and then, you have to fight him, you have to kill him, 3 times. And then the third time, he transforms into, this lightning samurai swordsman, man. And it becomes just so much more harder to kill him. The man Easy was fighting him, he was having a really hard time, and D Savage is going to be going up to him soon. My boy Shalik fought him and he had a hard time. Y2 hasn't fought him yet, but he's heard and I've heard, and it's I don't want to go through all of that. So so I looked up, is there any sort of way to help me? Is there any sort of thing that will help me, finish the boss fight? Any way to make the boss fight short, sweet, and to the point, right? So, and then, we had a conversation, had a bit of a trolling moment, and then we got into this cheesing thing. So, right? Now, before we begin, let me explain to you what cheesing is. Cheesing in a game is basically you going online and looking up any sort of way to finish a boss fight relatively simply, without too much difficulty and all that stuff, right? It can happen in any video. It happens in not only boss fights, but in any game in general. If you're looking up a guide as to how to beat the game quickly or how to find this or that without exploring in the game, if it has exploration in it, you're cheesing. And it's something that is 50-50 in the gaming community, right? Because it's some people like it and some people hate it. Me, I only use it when I have no choice, right? And what I'm doing today is I'm literally giving you guys here my personal list of pros and cons to the game, as well as some personal insight into each of the pros and cons of the game, right? So anyways, let's get started with this list here. Now, once again, these pros and cons are of my own personal opinion, and if you guys have any kind of pros and cons that you want to put on your own, you can put them in the comments down below. I'll read them out, probably highlight some of the best ones in another video. But anyways, let's begin. My first pro is that really keeps you sane. These games are notorious for, making people get angry. I've seen videos where people who die in some of these, from software games I'm talking about here, who die from these games, they get so angry that they bust their controller or punch a hole in the wall, punch their TV in extreme cases, smash their console, just break something. These kind of games will get you mad. The Dark Souls, the Bloodborne, the Sekiros, your Ninja Gaidens, your Mega Mans, your Super Meat Boys. Me, I'm a college student, man. I don't have time for getting angry playing a video game when I already have school as enough to stress me out. I'm passing all my classes right now, right? But I'm better at taking tests than I am at doing homework. But it's sometimes it's college life. College life just really, really knows how to screw with you in ways that makes you stressed out. So I already have college in my life to get me stressed, right? But so I don't need to look at these games or play them and get angry. And once again, it's only specifically for the Genichiro boss fight. It's not for any of the other ones because they were tough, but they were doable. I started learning their patterns. Genichiro, that looks like a bullshit boss fight, and plus it's in a very small arena. It's not as big as the Lady Butterfly arena or the Gyobo arena. So I'm not going to stress myself out with that small arena with an impossible boss like that. Especially when you fight him the first time, it's an open field. So yeah, that's point number 1. Pro number 2 is about speedrunning. Pro number 2 is help speedrunners, right? And there's a lot of people who like playing these kind of difficult games, and they love finishing them in certain amounts of time. One great example would be, there was a guy, I want to say 2 weeks ago, who actually completed Dark Souls 1, 2, and 3, and he also beat Bloodborne, and I think he did it all. I think he also did the DLC too. But he did it all back to back to back to back without dying not once, right? So that must mean that he definitely avoided some optional bosses and probably only fought the main bosses. I've only seen highlights. I didn't see any of the main ones. But to finish those games back to back without dying, not even once, you can't tell me that he didn't cheese that. Because nobody, not even pros can do that, right? Not even pros can play Dark Souls 1, 2, and 3 and Bloodborne back to back to back without dying. It's impossible. Oh, well, not impossible because somebody did it, but still, the point still stands. That's an amazing feat. And it's a feat that can only be achieved if he had looked up certain bosses or looked up how to beat certain bosses. Now, he probably didn't. I'm just speculating here. He probably didn't. He probably did it with pure skill alone. But it's going to take a lot more convincing since he's the only one to have done it, number one. It's going to take a lot of convincing for me to believe that that this is the kind of thing that can be achieved without cheesing, without going online, looking up a guide, or looking up what weapon works well against what, especially with games like Mega Man, because Mega Man, that's a game that people love to speedrun, and in that game, you definitely have to cheese bosses, because you got to figure out bosses, because some bosses are weaker to one type of weapon than the other. So you're definitely gonna have to cheese that game if you want to speedrun that, because Mega Man's a hard game too. But I'm talking about the old ones. So yeah, speedrunners definitely cheese. That's a fact. So point number 3 is that it helps to unlock trophies. All I'm gonna say is this: Metal Gear Solid 4: Guns of the Patriots has an achievement where if you you have to complete the game on the hardest difficulty in 4 hours, not killing a single guard, not getting caught, and never saving. And you have to complete the entire thing in 4 hours. That's a Metal Gear game. There's no way that you don't cheese that. You cannot tell me that through pure skill alone, that's possible. It's not. And if there is, tell me in the comments. Give me names. I want to see this. I want to research this. So tell me if there's anybody who's ever done it with pure skill without going online and looking it up. And believe you me, I can tell if they're lying. Now, the one con that I have is that literally it's something that is shunned upon in the gaming community, especially by specific groups of fans of particular games, like the Dark Souls games. Any person who plays Dark Souls and goes through that game with multiplayer added to them is considered a cheeser or is shunned upon by the Dark Souls community, because Dark Souls is a game that's supposed to be played by itself, as is its successors as well, including Bloodborne. Sekiro's the only single player game. There's no multiplayer in it, but if there was multiplayer in it, I'm pretty sure it'd be a lot easier than it is right now. So yeah, like those communities, they're very hardcore people who want to say that, oh, I completed this game in this amount of time and yada yada yada. Literally, like, yeah, it's something that's shunned upon, but once again, it's a 50-50 thing. There are some people who's like, I completely understand. So that's literally the only con I could come up with, man. My final message is, you paid $60 for your game. You can do whatever you want with it. I'm not going to judge you. And, don't let other people tell you how to play a game, because they didn't buy it for you. So you do whatever you want with it. Anyways, that's about it for the video, guys. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, please make sure to leave a like down below, comment what you think, and subscribe to my channel if you are new. I'm probably going to be streaming tonight on YouTube, and that's literally all I got to say. I will see you guys later on the next video. I have been your Captain Rocket. Peace out.